95% of people who try to lose weight give up and quit. I managed to lose 50 pounds back in 2018, but I did it the hard way and made every mistake in the book. So today I'm going to share 9 pieces of brutally honest advice that I wish someone had given me back when I was overweight. Because I don't want you to quit. I don't want you to become part of the 95% who give up. I want you to be one of the 5% who don't just lose the weight, but keep it off too. Because to be honest, losing weight and getting in shape isn't even about looking good. It's about everything else that it gives you in life. Confidence, energy, drive, work ethic, discipline, the list goes on. You become a better father, husband, son, partner, employee, boss, and friend. Everyone wants that. But so many people give up and quit because they go too hard, too fast. They're looking for the shortcut, for the quick fix. But dude, it just doesn't exist. And that's the first piece of brutal advice that I wish I'd known 6 years ago. Because when you've wasted the amount of time, money, energy, effort that I have going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole, chasing shortcuts, eventually you'll lift your head up and realize that if you've just spent that time, energy, effort, focus, money on doing the thing, on doing the hard work, you would have gotten the body far sooner. So however tempted you might be, and by the way, I get it, the temptation is real. Don't try and cut corners. Don't make the common mistake and go all in. Because if you cut out all the food that you enjoy, the carbs, the chocolate, the pizza, whatever else it might be, you're setting a mental timer in your head. You're thinking, one day this will end and I'll get to have it all again. You're putting yourself on a diet, and a very restrictive one. But you don't need a diet. You need something simple, something flexible, and dare I say it, something enjoyable. Because the reality is you don't have to give up any of the food that you love. But what I'd suggest you do is eat 80% for function and 20% for fun. You want to have something that you look forward to, some treats sprinkled into your diet every single day. Because that way you're not constantly looking for the end. And ask yourself these 4 questions. What food do I enjoy so much that I'm not willing to give it up? What food could I happily dial back on a bit? What food could I substitute for something else? And what food could I remove completely? Get a piece of paper or open a note on your phone and make 4 lists. Because the truth is there isn't one right way to do this. We're all different, and what works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. Some people swear by low-carb diets, whereas other people thrive on higher carbs. Some people like intermittent fasting. Other people, like me, prefer spreading their food out throughout the day. The key is finding something that fits your lifestyle and then sticking to it long term. Number 2 is that you need to be more patient. So count in months, not days and weeks. Because think about it this way. It didn't take you days or weeks to get out of shape. It probably took you months, if not years, of bad habits. So it would be irrational for you to think that you're going to get in shape quickly. By counting in bigger time periods, you're setting yourself more realistic expectations. And you're not going to beat yourself up, or even worse, give up and rip up your diet and think you have to start all over again, yo-yoing to another diet if you have one bad day. Patience is the healthiest habit that nobody talks about. And your trajectory is far more important than the speed that you're traveling at. Don't worry about your speed until you're absolutely certain that you're on the right path. Number 3 is that this is 100% mindset. Let me tell you a quick story. Way back in the 1500s, Cortez sailed his army across the Atlantic from Spain to Mexico. His goal was to destroy the Aztecs. But Cortez had a very small problem. Literally. He only had 600 men, and he knew that he'd be outnumbered by the Aztecs. But he also foresaw something far more dangerous. He knew that if his men had a single seed of doubt, that they would buckle and fail. So once they landed in Mexico, Cortez did something extraordinary. He ordered all the boats to be burned. Now there was no way out of this fight for his men. They had a very clear choice: win or die. So had Cortez gone mad, or was he a genius? Well, those men went on to conquer the Aztecs and Mexico. The truth is, Cortez gave his men a gift that day. He gave them the gift of a burning desire. Not to win, but to survive. Because he knew that they would do just about anything to survive. The only quality a man needs to win is a burning desire. That's a quote by Napoleon Hill from his famous book, Think and Grow Rich. The truth is, anybody can achieve big goals. You want to lose 50 pounds and get a 6-pack? You can absolutely do that. The problem is most people don't have the burning desire to pull it off. They tell themselves they do, but when they're 6 weeks in and it's a cold, dark, wet Tuesday morning and their knee hurts a little bit, they give up. My favorite moments from this year as a coach have absolutely nothing to do with how much weight my clients have lost. My favorite moments are when they tell me that their children now see them as a gladiator, or that they've been promoted at work, or quit that job that they hated, or even had the confidence to go on a first date since their divorce. The point is, these guys all found their burning desire, and once they did, nothing was going to stop them. And here's the cool part. We all have that desire within us. For some, it's buried deeper than others. But the secret is finding the button that gets that desire burning and smashing it. Because your burning desire will help you keep going even when you want to quit. Number 4 is that the calorie deficit is king. You don't need to do vegan, intermittent fasting, carnivore, keto, or any other nonsense like that. You just need to be eating fewer calories than your body is burning, which forces it to use the stored fat as fuel. When I first found out about the calorie deficit, it felt like someone had given me a cheat code to life because I couldn't believe it was this simple. But I started losing weight straight away, even though I was still eating carbs, chocolate, pizza, and everything else that I enjoyed. Because as long as I hit my calorie deficit target, the scales kept going down. I had spent years trying every restrictive diet and overpriced supplement, but nothing had worked. Now my clothes were fitting better, my belt was tighter around my waist, and probably most importantly, I had more energy, more confidence, more drive. If you want to know what your calorie deficit target is, the very first thing you need to do is calculate something called your maintenance calorie number. Now, the easiest way to do that is to take your body weight in pounds and multiply it by 14. But that won't give you a precise number because your maintenance calorie number is unique to you. It's based on your age, your weight, your height, your sex, and how active your lifestyle is. So if you want a more precise number, scroll down and click the link in the description that's underneath this video. Use my free calorie calculator and I'll send you a precise calorie deficit target. It's only going to take you 30 seconds, so if you want to pause the video and do that right now, go ahead. Number 5 is actually 5 words that I wish I'd lived my life by. And the fact that I didn't for such a long time actually makes me angry these days because I think about how much further ahead I could have been. And those 5 words are simple things done well consistently. Think of your health and fitness like a video game. If you started a video game that you'd never played before on hard mode, you would lose, throw a strop, and give up. So why are you trying to start your health kick on hard mode? At the beginning, just focus on your calories, drink a bit more water, and try and get a few more steps in. Start small and tackle one of these things at a time. And then once you're comfortable with that, start to think about how you can live a bit more of an active lifestyle. You can walk or cycle to work. You can use the stairs instead of the elevator. You can do some gardening. You can clean your house. You can have more with your partner. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Then once you've done that, try and add some more protein and fiber into your diet. But the point is, don't try and overcomplicate it. Tackle one problem at a time. No one expects you to be perfect when you're just starting out. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. And just remember, the tortoise always beats the hare. Number 6 is that you're not a robot, so don't act like one. You see, after a while, trying to hit the same calorie target every single day, it got harder and harder. The monotony really got to me. At first it was okay. My progress stalled a little bit, but the scales were still going down. But then it stopped completely. I was making a huge mistake without realizing it. And it turns out it's far more common than I thought. You see, if you try to hit the same calorie target every single day, you set yourself up to fail because you're not a robot. Every day is different and perfect days are a dime a dozen. Whether it's traffic jams, annoying bosses, commutes, bad weather, hangovers, kids, the list goes on and on. But the point is, some days you just can't be bothered to track your calories, and other days you just really need that extra large pizza. I realized that I needed something that was more flexible if I was going to make this work in the long term. So I dug deeper into the science, and what I found was completely game-changing. This was probably one of the biggest tricks that helped me lose those 50 pounds. And now my clients are using it to lose a pound of fat a week like clockwork. So all you have to do is take the daily calorie deficit target that my calculator will give you and multiply it by 7. Now you're looking at it like a weekly budget. So let's say, for example, you use my calculator and it spits out a calorie deficit target of 2,000. Just multiply it by 7, so in that case it'd be 14,000, and see that as your weekly calorie budget. Manage it just like you would your finances. And if you go overdrawn on calories one day, you just save some back the next. And when you get more experience with this, you can actually plan ahead. So what a lot of my clients do is now front load their low calorie days so they can save higher calorie days for the weekend when they've got more social occasions or they just want a bit more freedom. This approach is flexible, it's realistic, and most importantly, it's sustainable. And you won't feel like a failure when things don't go to plan. So zoom out and look at your target on a weekly basis rather than obsessing over it daily. Number 7 is to not sit around waiting for motivation. There is never going to be a perfect time. It will suck and you will make mistakes. But guess what? That's going to be the case whether you start today, tomorrow, or a year from now. So you might as well start right now. In fact, the literal definition of the word procrastination is the action of delaying or postponing something, which means you've already decided you're going to do it. Procrastination is completely pointless. And the crazy thing about procrastination is the amount of mental energy that it costs us when we're doing it. You're literally just putting off something that you've already decided you're going to do. And speaking of procrastination, the story that I'm about to tell you, I'm ashamed to say, is true. So I lost 50 pounds back in 2018, right? And that was 6 years ago. I felt awesome and I wanted to share my experience and more importantly, the lessons that I'd learned. So I wrote a note in my phone and I titled it YouTube Video Ideas. And there I was, I had 5 videos planned out and ready to go. But you know when I recorded my first YouTube video? January the 2nd, 2024. It took me 6 full years to go from idea to reality. Why? Because big goals are like mountains. It's normal to feel a wave of doubt, overwhelm, or even fear before you take that first step. And we all have that inner monologue where we ask ourselves, can I really do this? And a lot of people quit right there and then before they've even taken that first step because it's easier to stay in that cozy little comfort bubble and convince yourself that everything's fine. But you put it off day after day until the months become years, but it's gnawing away at you. It's a little seed that grows into an acorn. You know deep down that you could have done it, all because some negative thoughts that probably aren't even true held you back. But it's not the work itself that's holding you back. It's the anticipation of the work, having to do 3 workouts a week, the anticipation of having to go on a diet. But the solution is simple. Just break the problem down. One of my favorite episodes of Friends is when Chandler and Monica are about to get married, but just before the wedding, Chandler goes missing. Ross eventually finds him and convinces him to come back and start getting ready for the wedding. And eventually the wedding goes through and they live happily ever after. But it's the way that Ross does it that I was so impressed and took so much from it. He tells Chandler that all he has to do is take a shower, which is quite a funny scene. The point is he's breaking the problem down for Chandler because in Chandler's own words, it's just too huge. That's exactly what he says to Ross. But Ross helps him to see that if he can just break the problem down, he can solve it. But listen, here's a hard truth. Procrastination is what keeps losers. Because knowing what to do and how to do it, but not doing anything about it, is worse than not knowing. Think of your mind like a giant aircraft carrier. It takes like 10 support boats to get that thing in the water and out of the harbor. But once it's in the open water, it glides through the ocean. The hardest part of any goal is starting, just taking that first step. So don't look up at the mountain and panic. Look down, find your feet, and breathe. Once you do that, the momentum that you start to build will make you unstoppable. Because here's the truth, and this is no BS, you are closer to your goal than you realize. I want you to take that first step today. And I wish I'd had someone tell me that 6 years ago. And if you're still struggling to find motivation, use this simple trick. Anytime I'm struggling to get motivated, I take 5 minutes out and just picture my 80-year-old self. And I ask myself, what would that version of me want this version of me to do? And I know the answer wouldn't be sit on my bum and watch another Netflix series. And I don't want to disappoint 80-year-old Duck, because every action or inaction that you take today is a point for or against your future self. If you ask the 80-year-old billionaire what they want more than anything, every single one of you, to a man, to a woman, will tell you that they just want to be 30 again. That should tell you everything. That gives you an insight into just how important health and fitness is. All you have to do is change the frame, change the way that you're looking at the problem in front of you. Look at it from a different angle and get a fresh perspective. Think about how good you're going to feel after you've done it. And the best piece of advice I can give you here is to think less and just do more. Number 8 is that calorie tracking sucks, but it works. Again, don't try and look for the shortcut here. Just do it. Because the thing with calorie tracking is, if you do it diligently for 8 weeks, which by the way is only 64 days, you will never have to do it again. You will have built a lifelong skill because you will start to see food like Neo sees the Matrix. You'll look at your plate and know how many calories are in it. You'll know the protein, the carbs, the fat. It's honestly like a superpower. And I wish they taught this stuff to kids in school. Yes, it's a little bit of a nuisance. It's repetitive and it's boring, but it works. And if you really want to lose the weight, if you're serious about this, you'll do it. You'll do anything you can because you've got that burning desire. The challenge is it's the ultimate form of delayed gratification because all the work is at the start and all the benefit is at the end. But food tracking removes the guesswork, and more importantly than that, it removes the emotion. And here's the honest truth. If you're doing the workouts and you think you're eating healthy, but you're not tracking your calories, you might as well sit in your hand and clap. Just stop dancing around the hard work because nobody flukes this. There is a very clear link between my clients who track their calories and get the result. If you think it's beneath you, good luck to you. If you think it's not worth it, good luck to you. But you are not the exception. And no matter how many times your mummy told you, you're not special. In fact, there really is only one question that you have to ask yourself. Do I really want this? And lastly, number 9 is that no one cares. Not long ago, I unlocked my worst fear. You see, I was in the middle of a packed gym, halfway through a set of seated cable row, when suddenly, snap, the cable on the machine broke. I backflipped off the bench and landed upside down on the ground with my butt in the air. And I'll be honest, right then, lying on that cold gym floor, I honestly thought about getting facial reconstructive surgery, changing my name, and emigrating. Finally, after what felt like 7 years, a guy helped me up. But do you know what was absolutely crazy? Despite the fact that I was surrounded by about 20 people, only 3 of them even looked over. And within 5 seconds, everybody was back to doing their own thing. The point is, nobody cares. But looking back, I am so glad that that happened to me. Not just so that I could tell you this story and hopefully give you a laughter though, but because it was just such an important reminder that I think we all need from time to time. Everyone is too wrapped up in their own life to care about yours. Listen, I get it. Joining a new gym, starting a new diet, it's daunting. I've been working out 15 years, but I still get nervous the first time I walk in a new gym. You don't know where everything is, you feel like everybody's looking at you, and you're not sure how to use that weird machine in the corner. You just want to get through your session without doing anything stupid. But here's the thing, most people in the gym aren't following a program and they don't have a clue what they're doing. So they certainly don't care about what you're doing. In fact, they're thinking the exact same thing as you. Is he watching me? Gym anxiety is a real thing, but everybody has their first day and everybody makes a prat of themselves from time to time. So don't put it off. You'll be fine. So that's 9 pieces of brutally honest advice that I wish I'd known 6 years ago when I was 50 pounds heavier than I am right now. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, but more importantly, I hope you found it useful. If you did, do me one small favor and tap the subscribe button. Until next time, cheers.